This is just going to be a little introduction to mindfulness and meditation and what the differences are and how you could start to try and integrate it into your day. So meditation is often thought about as clearing the mind. What it actually is, though, is about learning to focus the mind on one thing. We go through our days and we're focusing on all sorts of things throughout the day, and that's actually quite fatiguing for our brain. So the ability to be able to focus on one thing gives our brain a bit of downtime. So there's all sorts of different meditations. You could have one about visualizing, so you can be guided walking through, say, a forest, and you're noticing the sounds and the sights and the smells and the sensations as you take that imaginary journey through the forest. Or you can have ones where you're visualizing lights in and out of the body at various places. They work for some people, and other people to find them not that accessible. I find a great way to start with people is thinking about the breath and using the focus on tracking your breath in and out as you breathe. Helps to focus the mind on one thing. But you've got to try lots of different things and see what suits you. Don't think, oh, I've tried meditation, I tried this one where someone was talking at me and I couldn't follow it, and think that then meditation isn't for you. You've also got to start small, so 2 minutes to begin with can feel like an eternity to keep your brain focused on the one thing. So start small, 2 minutes or so, and gradually build up. The other thing to note with this is that it takes practice to get the benefits from it. Mindfulness and meditation, they have starting to get really good evidence coming through that they can really be beneficial for lowering levels of anxiety, helping with easing depression as one element that can help with those things. So it can be a really powerful tool, but if you only use it in the moments when you feel you really need it, then you don't get as much benefit from it as if it's a regular practice. It's a bit like going for a run once in a blue moon and expecting to get a really good time. You just won't get that quite what you expected from it. So little and often is absolutely key. Trying to find a time in your day that fits for you, just to remind you to do it. So often a good time is before bed. As you get into bed, you could start and commit to a 2-minute meditation before going to sleep. It's as simple as that. Don't think you have to find 15, 20 minutes, an hour to set aside to do this. So mindfulness then is about being in the moment, in the present moment. We often rush through our day, and actually how often are we truly present? Have we stopped and felt the wind brushing our skin as we're outside? Have we stopped and in the shower paid attention to the sound of the water and the feel of the water on your skin? So this is all about being in the moment and recognizing where your thoughts, feelings and how your body feels in that moment. So often people practice mindful meditation, and again the breathing can come into that because you're focusing on where you're breathing from, how it's feeling. So this is a great form of mindfulness meditation. Again, when you get practiced at it, it's something then you can draw on during the day. It doesn't need to be a set aside once a day type of thing. You can just check in during the day. This can be really beneficial when you can recognise where your thoughts or feelings are going and how that might be manifesting in you physically, or even just whether you're getting really hung up on one thought or feeling. And then it's recognise it that they are just that, they are thoughts, and whether you then actively want to engage with them or not. So that's where the benefit can really come in. So as I have alluded to, that I find a lot of people find access into this by focusing on the breath. The other reason I really like this is because where you breathe from depends on whether you are into your fight-flight response, your adrenaline coursing action, let's get going, or your rest and digest, your calming system. So being able to know where you breathe from and kicking into different systems can be really useful for managing how you're feeling, your thoughts, getting you settled before going into something that you might normally make you feel a little bit nervous, or just calming yourself and taking that moment to check in during the day. So we'll do a little bit of a practice now. So to check in where you breathe from, there's a few different ways to do it, and I'll just show you in seated and in lying because sometimes that's easier for people. So if you take one hand and you pop it on your chest so you can feel your collarbone, one of your collarbones here, and then the other hand just around belly button level here. So without changing anything, just thinking about taking a breath in and a breath out. Do 2 more there. One more. And then you're trying to notice which hand moves first. So some of you might obviously be a, and the shoulders are bobbing up first, and the hand doesn't really move, or others might find that as you take that breath in, that the belly moves first. So if when you breathe, you're all up here, you're into your fight flight response. That's your adrenaline coursing type of breathing, and it means that you are going to be heightened in all sensations because that adrenaline is coursing through your body. So that can be really useful, but if we're sitting in this way and this system all the time, then actually we can't get that calming effect. So you want to be able to see then whether you can start breathing into this bottom hand first. So if you're always up here, this can be a little bit tricky, so just be patient with it and give it a few goes, 3-5 breaths at a time, and then back to normal, and then maybe revisit it and see. So you can use hands on. You can also give yourself a bit of a hug, so your hands are onto the side of your ribs here, and as you take a breath in, you want to think about pressing the ribs out to the side and out to the front and back, and you can use those hands to just assist with that. So as you take a breath in and breath out. So you should find that the shoulders don't bob up. If we're doing this, then you're still into that apical system, you're still into that fight-flight response, so you want to really focus your attention out. You can also put hands onto the side of ribs here, but you've got to nestle those shoulders down. So as you take a breath in, you can see there the hands moving out as I take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you can gently guide back in on the ribs. So that can be a really useful tool regularly during the day, and as you get used to it, you won't need the hands on or assessing where you're breathing from. You'll just be able to kick into that type of breath. The other thing you can do is get a trusty dressing gown cord, pop it round kind of bra level if you're a female, and then wrap it over once. Again, nestle those shoulders down. This is not ramming them down, but just gently nestle them down away from the ears, and then a little bit of pressure on the band. And then from here, again, as you take the breath in, you'll feel that band expand all the way around the cord, and as you breathe out, you'll feel it nestle down. So 2 more here. And again. So focusing on tracking the breath in and out and focusing on where you feel the movement come from, that is a form of mindfulness meditation. It doesn't need to be more complex than that. So this can be used just once a day, or regularly checking in with yourself during the day, maybe in different moods, and see, do I breathe differently when I'm feeling calm? Do I breathe differently when I'm feeling a little bit anxious or a bit bothered about something? So use that as a bit of a tool to start checking in with how you are feeling throughout the day. I will just finish with show you lying down, because sometimes sitting up can be a little tricky to begin with this. So if I come and have a lie here, so again, you'd pop hands onto collarbone and then onto about belly button level, and then relaxing the shoulders down. So this is why this can be useful. If you find you're all up into shoulder, lying on the floor kind of helps fix those and take them out of the equation. So in this position, again, think about taking a breath in and breath out. 2 more. So hopefully on that you can see my belly hand moving quite a lot. If I show you what an upper breathing pattern would look like, it would be and there you can actually see my belly kind of draws in as my chest and shoulders rise. So again, you can use a cord, you can give yourself a hug, you can pop your hands on here, or just keep the focus onto belly and see if you can just let the belly relax and expand on that breath in, and as you breathe out, everything melt back down. So see what works for you. So I am not saying that if you breathe up here that that's all bad, but what I am saying, like everything else in life, having variety and knowing where you breathe from and having the ability to breathe into different areas can be really, really beneficial. So if you want more information on this, there are lots of apps available. If you pop into Google NHS Mindfulness, then it will bring up a whole page with a few links and actually a course that you can then go on to do. App-wise, there's a great app called Insight Timer, which is a free app available on Apple or Android. So Insight Timer, free app. In that you can say, I want a 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute, an hour-long meditation or mindfulness practice. It could be focused on breathing, it could be listening to music, it could be forest bathing, so you just hear the sounds and of all things that happen in a forest. There are poems, there is music, there is all sorts. You can say I want one for relaxation, you can say I want one for anxiety, for sleep, for motivation. There are all sorts. So and then any find that you like, you can then bookmark and come back to straight away. So that is a great resource. And then other than that, there are lots of other apps, so Headspace, and we've actually got free membership at the minute whilst we're on NHS contract. But you can also get a 10-day free guided meditation with that anyway before needing to purchase anything. There is Calm, there are a whole host of others. The more you play, the more you're going to get out from it, and the more you just treat it as 2 minutes at a time and build up, the more use you're going to get out of it, rather than doing it once or once every blue moon and expecting to feel the benefits. So take that time and carve out 2 minutes in your day where you can tune into those thoughts, feelings and how you are feeling. And I think that about sums it up for now. Any questions? I'm sure you can then stick them on this and I can get back to you, or someone else with more knowledge than me maybe can also feed in. So thank you, and I hope you got something from this.